and welcome everyone to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 4, episode 22. Tonight's the sports edition, Andy.
Yes.
We're on April 10th, 2023. We'll start off with a trivia question. We have lots of sports to cover, lots of tournaments. Winter season's ending, of course. Spring season's kicking off.
Spring is in the air.
And it was finally nice today. You know, that really helps. Yeah. I've got a trivia question to start things off with, Andy.
All right, go ahead.
The trivia question is this. On this day in 1973, 50 years ago today, which Major League Stadium opened for the first time? Which Major League ballpark opened 50 years ago on this day?
Baseball ballpark?
It has to be a baseball stadium, baseball ballpark. One of the 30 teams started today, kicked off in a new stadium, brand new. And that stadium still around today turned 50 years old today, Andy. 50.
Wow. I have to think about that one.
Well, to some sports fans, and probably yourself, this should be fairly easy. But I don't know. We don't know. We'll get to the answer at the end of the show. We'll cover it. But let's get into some sports and let me know what you've got here today.
All right, hook me up. Let's go to my flipper screen here.
Here we go. It's launching.
And there we are. WNBA Draft is going on right now, sponsored by State Farm, as I'm wearing my Ryan Hengardner State Farm Insurance Watertown Red Devils hat.
Perfect.
Plug. Thanks, Ryan, for the hat. Send the check in.
Exactly.
So I was watching the draft. We almost had to start the show late because I said, Dan, we got to wait and see where Monika goes.
Okay.
I projected yesterday that she go in the second round to the Minnesota Lynx. I was hoping early second round. She didn't go. And then she didn't go. They were projecting her in the upper second round.
Okay.
The Lynx had the last pick in the second round. I thought, okay, I could still kind of be right.
Yep.
They still didn't take her. The second pick in the third round, the Los Angeles Sparks picked up Monika Czinano. So
the Sparks.
Los Angeles. She goes from Minnesota, Iowa to LA.
Congrats.
So she will be going up. Congrats to Miss Monika.
Now, they've got her listed as a guard. Is that correct?
That's what they list her as, but it's ESPN, so let's just leave it at that.
Okay, we'll leave it alone. Well, congrats regardless. That's great news.
You know, she could will she play the 3, which is considered a small forward, third guard, who knows? But she'll probably play the 4. I doubt the 3. She never attempted a 3-pointer in college, so I'm pretty sure she play the 4 or the 5.
So. Okay. Well, congrats to her. That's great news.
Drew Helleson made his NHL debut last night.
Okay.
Anaheim Ducks were doing drafted by the Colorado Avalanche. And you may ask, Andy, why have you mentioned these two?
Yes.
Both these two, Monika and Drew Helleson, who is my wife's cousin's boy. Monika, good friends with my daughter. Both of these people have been in my house, Dan.
They have.
Not at the same time, but they've both been in my house.
So you have true pro athletes in your home.
I've exchanged Christmas cards with Drew Helleson.
Oh, my.
Now,
okay, that's awesome.
Granted, my wife signed my name on ours, and his mom signed the name on theirs, but what's nuts for here?
All the rest is semantics. So he got called up and made his debut last night.
For the Ducks.
For the Ducks.
Quack.
Hashtag quack.
Anaheim Ducks, Monika now with the Los Angeles Sparks. I think I got a road trip next year to make.
Trip to Cali.
A road trip to Anaheim and LA, I think.
That's fun news. I love it.
Could be in my future.
Yes. Okay.
Speaking of hockey, college hockey had their Frozen Four. The Gophers were part of that. Gophers beat Boston 6-2 in the semis. Quinnipiac beat Michigan 5-2 in theirs. And in what was on Sunday, just a beautiful game. The Gophers and Quinnipiac, I'm sorry, that was a great, great game. Gophers did lose. They had the game all in control, lost in overtime. Congrats to QU there for winning the game.
That's their first ever title, right?
Yes. And it would have been the Gophers' first ever in like 20 years.
Okay.
But congrats to both. Now, here's the thing. It was the second time ever these two teams met. The first time was in 2000, and the Gophers beat them like 11-2.
Okay.
Because it was the Q's like second year in Division I hockey. So they got a little revenge in that one, a little bit. Excuse me, I get water there. All right, here we go. More stuff. Upper Midwest Athletic Conference baseball, baby. Our friends at Crown College are in the middle of the pack there at 2-2, 8-10 overall. There you see some of the other schools in there: Wisconsin Superior, Northland, Minnesota Morris, Bethany Lutheran, Northwestern, Martin Luther, and North Central are the teams in there. Crown does play their games down at the Missile. They're in the St. Bonnie. Go Polars is their hashtag. 5 games coming up this weekend. Friday night, doubleheader Saturday, doubleheader Sunday against Northland College.
In St. Bonnie. So they're getting the field prepped, huh? And ready to go?
At the Missile, yes.
Interesting. And this team went to the Division III, the Division III playoffs, the NCAA playoffs last year. So it'll be fun to watch.
Last couple of years have been pretty good. So,
okay.
Go Polars. Minnesota high school baseball. Here's the preseason rankings, Dan. Preseason rankings. We'll keep an eye on this for end of the year, see how it turns out. Class 4A. Stillwater's your early season leader. Eastridge and Chan and Mounds View round out your top 4. The Chaska at number 7.
Okay.
3A. Medill St. Margaret, Mankato West. Top 2, 1-2 right there. New Prague at 9. 2A. Fairmont and Watertown Mayor, Foley and Perham are your top 4. Glencoe Silver Lake at 5.
Okay.
So there we go there. And the 1A, Randolph, Hayfield, New York Mills, New Ulm Cathedral. New Life Academy at 8. So there's our preseasons. We'll kind of keep an eye on this, compare it throughout the year. We'll keep these on hand.
Nice.
More baseball stuff. Start with a little tidbit in minor league baseball this week. Minor league baseball, the Rocket City Trash Pandas just threw a 7-inning no-hitter because it was a doubleheader, so they did 7-inning games.
Okay, nothing to do with COVID, just doubleheader rules.
7 innings, doubleheader. Conceded 7 runs and lost 7-5. If you look at the line score, their team scored 7 runs without getting a hit.
A no-hit.
And
now,
the Trash Pandas scored 2 more in the bottom of the 7th, tried to make a rally there. Here, how do you get 7 runs without a hit? Let me explain.
Okay.
All right. This is actually how the 7th inning went. They were leading 3-0. Keep track. Walk, pop out, walk, strikeout. So it's still 3-0. Bases loaded, 2 out.
Okay. 2 outs, bases
no
loaded.
hitter.
Down 3-0 in the 7th. Okay.
Yep. 2 out. Walk, error, 2 runs score, hit by pitch, loading the bases again at a 3-3 tie.
Okay.
Hit by pitch again. Walk, wild pitch, scoring a run, hit by pitch, and a strikeout.
That's how it ended. 7-3 and a no-hitter.
7-5 because they came back and scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Or 7.
Oh, 7-5. Yep. Okay.
Yep. So 5 hitters drew walks, 4 hitters were plunked, 1 reached by an error.
Oh my goodness.
And there's the pitcher's line scores. Crow, the starter, walked the first 2, then they yanked him, then the bullpen just kind of fell apart. 4 walks and a K. A walk and a K for the other guy when he came in.
Oh my goodness. And that's just, you get the blown save and you get the loss and you have the embarrassment of, these games draw 7,000-8,000 fans. Hit, pitch, errors, wild pitches. Okay, now let's see. But wait,
there's more.
Okay.
The second game of the doubleheader, they gave up 1 hit and won 3-0. You gave up 1 hit in 2 games.
So in 14 innings,
Chattanooga got 1 hit.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas pitching staff allows 1 hit in 14 innings.
Right.
7 runs and a loss, but it was a bunch of very messy thing there. But wow.
So take that for what it's worth.
That is wild, weird, wacky, wild stuff, Andy.
As Carcinio would say, yes.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Which leads to the soapbox a little bit. I know your favorite part.
This could be good.
This is what I hate right here. Soapbox. Fernando Tatis, who's on a rehab assignment, is allowed to play in the minor leagues while serving a PED suspension. Now, of course, this had to be blacked out, so I'll just clean it up. I think that's a bunch of crap. If you're on a PED suspension, you should not be in the minors. I don't care if you're rehabbing an injury at the same time or not. You're suspended. You cannot be in a uniform on a field. You cannot be at team facilities. You are suspended.
Okay, I did not know that. So he is not on a rehab assignment. He's suspended.
But he's allowed to undertake rehab assignments in the minor leagues.
Okay, I did not know that.
So he could work with the team and everything else, which I think is wrong. You're suspended. You sit at home and you watch the games on the MLB package like the rest of us.
That is interesting. I did not know that.
So now, do I not like Fernando Tatis Jr. for this? No. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I hate the rule. I hate that they can do that. Nothing against him. God bless him for figuring out how to get around it. I just think it's wrong. So there.
Yeah, that is an interesting. The guy is a tremendous athlete, and once again, like you said, someone allowed. They're allowing this to happen, and it's not his fault. Now, does this happen for other PEDs? Are you saying this is a one?
I never got. Yeah, this is the first one I saw of it.
Okay,
I didn't put a lot of research staff into it. I was going to have the interns look into it, but it was the Easter weekend, so I gave them the weekend off.
Yeah, we were short-staffed.
Yeah, but it was kind of something to peek on your own, maybe.
I'd like to look that up, and if anyone else knows that, feel free to leave a comment below because that's an interesting thing.
I think it's wrong. Like I said, nothing against FT for that. Nothing against Fernando Tatis Jr. for that, but I don't think that's right.
It is what it is. Yeah, interesting.
More major league stuff. Here's some standings. Now, we didn't do them last week. Kind of into week 2, about 10 games in, so we'll start doing standings. And again, kind of like the preseason for baseball, we're going to keep these kind of on the back burner and bring them up every now and then.
Yep.
Because you can have a good 10-game period, like the Angels are here, or the A's went 2-7. They can go 2-7 in the middle of the year and still be 5 games ahead, not 3 games back. So this is just a couple-week period here, so we'll see how it goes. The Angels and Rangers, the only 2 above 500 in the AL West. This is going into today, so this does not count games played this afternoon on Monday here. This was the last night I got these scores down or standings down. So Twins the half-game lead, Sox, Royals, Tigers. And then the East, 9-0 Rays. I'll get more on them later. 9-0 Rays.
Yeah, that's strange.
National League, you might want to take a still shot of this with the Diamondbacks in first place.
Whoa.
But again, this is what I'm saying. This is just a 10-game period. Like there wasn't some period last year during the season or later in the year where the Diamondbacks went 6-4 and the Giants went 4-5.
Yeah, this is probably very commonplace. It's just strange to see it.
Yeah, so we'll see later in the year when Arizona's 6-38 and National League Central, Brewers, Pirates, Cubs, Reds, Cardinals. Cardinals already 4 out. But again, it's 1 week, 10 games. And there's the Mets in second place behind the Braves. If it wasn't for the Brewers, the Mets would be walking away with it. But
that was surprising. I had to look twice when I saw some of those posts. How good the Brewers are doing against the Mets with the wow.
Yeah, and they're 7-2 overall, so it wasn't like the Brewers had those 3 games and the sun was shining on their ass, pardon my language, but they had a great start. And the Nationals, I think 3-7 is going to be pretty par for the course for them all year on that. So get used to that one. All right. The Sports and Songs 80s baseball stat of the week.
Okay, this will be good.
Over a 5-year stretch between 93 and 97. Now, I know it's in the 80s, but it's Tony Gwynn. I associate Tony Gwynn. And this is the 90s, so we're kind of an exception to the rule here.
Yep.
Gwynn's lowest batting average was 353 during that 5-year span.
And that was, and so for the listeners out there, that was his year-end average at the end of each of those seasons. The lowest of the year-end was that. Now that, in today's world, Andy,
they blow them away.
Love to have that in a spring training exhibition series.
I think when we did the stats in the last year, top 10 for batting average, I think only 3 or 4 guys were above 300.
Yeah.
Here he's at 353. So
Gwynn was
I
a
know there's 80
machine.
sports stat, but Tony Gwynn, go with it, all right?
That is unreal.
All right, here's an ugly one. O'Neal Cruz, the Pirates. I don't know if you saw this.
I just saw it today.
Slid in a little late, ankle got caught. Great. I've loved this kid since last year. I just hope he comes back healthy from this and this doesn't mess him up. There was some fisticuffs after the game or after this play. Things were said, as you see here. Cruz is trying to score when Brian Hayes slow roller to third. His foot appeared to catch in the dirt as he tried to avoid the tag. Moments after the collision, the catcher and the Pirates designated hitter Carlos Santana started drawing. Both benches cleared, although no one threw a punch.
So I've got two questions. And I got two questions here, Andy.
Yep.
Maybe you know, because I didn't look at this too much. So the designated hitter Santana, was he in the on-deck circle?
Yeah, he was coming on afterwards. So I don't know if he thought the play was because the catcher didn't get out of the way. It was pure his foot got caught in the dirt. That was not the catcher's fault. Now, when it happens, boom, boom, live, he's your stud player. You're the DH defending him. Did he think the catcher had something to do with it? I don't know. What exactly?
I saw the bench is clear, and I wasn't sure, how that all came into play. And like you said, he didn't slide wrong. He slid right.
He slid late, though.
He slid late. Fact of the matter is, his cleat got caught and it got twisted. Did it have anything to do with the catcher? Was he blocking the pad?
I don't think, when I saw it, I don't think the catcher was in fault at all.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm a catcher guy, so I'm kind of defending a little bit, but that batter's box stuff for the pit, especially on that right-handed side, that's not nice, even sliding dirt there as you're coming in the home either.
And they say don't go in head first either on a play at the plate like that. So he's doing the right thing. So the frustration, I think, for the Pirates fans and for the team was the fact that this is their stud player, and they may have heard the fracture, from the dugout, and they were their senses, are heightened, I should say, because of this, and they probably did take exception to it, whether the catcher did anything wrong or not. I saw the benches clear awfully fast.
And we've all seen plays when they go boom, boom, then you watch it in slow motion. In our society today, you try not to overreact. You see the replay. They overreacted to this other replay. So
now he's going to be out 4 months, they think, for this, is what I saw today. Is that what you saw? Okay,
yeah, and you know what? You don't wish ill for anybody. If the Pirates are out of it in 4 months, just take your time coming back. The Pirates are not going to be in contention this year, I wouldn't think. If for some freak act, they're in 3 months from now, they're kind of in it. I hope they don't rush him back.
Well, similar to what the Twins did last year with Kenta Maeda, he was due to come back in mid-August or late August from a Tommy John surgery. That takes close to a year to heal. The Twins were out of it, so they said, you know what, let's keep him healthy and then, sideline him for the rest of the year and then start him fresh the next season. And so they may do that because an ankle healing could take a lot of time depending on a lot of different things there. And, boy.
And after today's game for the Twins, I should have kept Kenta Maeda still in the
I should have made the comment.
I didn't say that. Sorry, Kenta.
Run homer.
Yes. But, there's a tall, lanky young man here, so hopefully he heals quickly, heals okay. He was so fun to watch. Let's just hope we're the best for him.
Yeah, he was okay. Interesting.
The Rays are the first team since 1884. This could be my 80 stat of the week here. 1884. With a run differential of more than 50 over the first 9 games of the season.
Oh, my goodness. This would be hard to come up with this stat, even research it.
When they showed the top 5, the other 4, it was the Rays like in second or third. The other 4 teams were all in the 1800s. So,
since 1884, that's pretty good.
And here's one to make you feel old. Corbin Carroll was 7 years old when Evan Longoria made his major league debut. They both just hit back-to-back home runs in a game.
And he was 7.
He was 7 when Longoria made his debut.
Oh,
so for any 7-year-olds out there, anyone watching with a 7-year-old, whatever rookie comes up this year, your boy might play with him and hit back-to-back home runs one day.
Just think of that. Take a second to step back and think about
When you were
that. Is
7,
unreal.
who was playing when you were 7? If you get a chance to play with them as you were 21, 22 years old,
Yeah, that is.
Yep.
It's a good stat.
It was inevitable. We're talking about the Mets. They're scheduled for the next week. They got the rematch, as we're calling it, from the playoffs last year against the Padres. Today, tomorrow, and Wednesday.
Okay.
And then they go day off, and they go out to Oakland to play the A's. Plenty of tickets available for that series.
Nice, exactly.
That's a safe bet to say. Sorry, that was mean too.
Ouch.
I am just a vicious man today, am I not? Holy cow.
Well, the A's, I saw one game this last week where they did actually pretty well on a comeback game. They ended up losing anyway, but it was fun to watch. Bottom of the ninth, they came back.
They're a good team.
They've got some talent, but just not enough to keep pace with the big boys.
Well, like I said, they're a good team, but no one there knows it because no one goes.
Yeah.
You see, I can calculate that. I've had 2 pro athletes in my house.
Exactly.
So.
That's
and I know Pat Cheetah. And Pat Cheetah and I are friends on Facebook.
Exactly.
Pete Alonso, second fastest player in MLB history to 150 home runs. Only behind Ryan Howard, who did it in, 43 less games. Ryan Howard was just a beast for a few years there, too.
But... that's right. Now, who's the one for Houston? Jordan?
Yeah, he's on a roll.
He's on a roll for a career as well. But this is Alonso, second fastest.
Trying not to be an Mets apologist on this when I say this.
Yeah.
It's kind of the asterisk us Mets fans bring up all the time. When they say, he's had so many home runs in the first 3 years of his career. One of those was the COVID year with 60 games only. Take that into consideration where they say it's been 3 seasons he's got this many home runs.
Yes, that's correct.
There's that 60-game COVID year in there. So
true. It's an
just
asterisk.
saying.
It is what it is.
Not begging for an asterisk. Just that's why I like this one here with his games played. I like these stats better.
They're straight up, yeah.
Yep. It's apples to apples. Here he is on the all-time Mets list. He is 6th with 150. Straw at 252. David Wright, Piazza, Hojo, and King Kong.
King Kong's 5th and Alonso's 6th. Okay.
Yeah, so 4 more. So the rate he's going this week, Alonso might catch him in the next week or 2. I don't know if he'll get the Johnson this year or not. That would be nice if he did, but I don't think so.
Yeah, that'd be a stretch.
But I can see him catching Johnson and Piazza in 2 years, being top 3 then. So
it's a lot of dingers.
Yeah. Of course, I go by 91 logo because that's my favorite logo of theirs. Here's their schedule. Today, they're the White Sox. Then they go to New York. They're at New York after this. So for 4 games against the Yankees, that's going to be a tough one, kids.
Yeah, and what they do is play 3 against the Red Sox after that. Red Sox are not that good from a win-loss standings perspective, but that 7-game road trip, Andy, is going to be very telling for Twins fans.
Yep.
See how good they are. Even on a mediocre Red Sox, it's hard to win at Fenway. Yankees always tough, and Twins have historically not done well. So that's a 7-game stretch that I'm going to be very interested in myself.
The Yankees are just in the Twins' head.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the Yankees. We're not going to do well, Okay, now, get your credit card out.
Okay.
Here we go. The Kraken. They're in the playoffs. There they are. 4 seed in the Pacific right now. Little X there. They are in the playoffs. And here's
last year they just missed, right?
They weren't even close.
Oh, gotcha.
First year last year, not even close. This year they're in.
I think they did better than expected, but they still finished horrible.
Yeah. Now here's the playoff gear, but you look at that. What is that there, Dan? You could buy a tentacle fan hand for $25.
That's what it is?
Yep. Because it's a Kraken. It's the little tentacle fan hand for $25.
Tentacle.
Look at that.
Oh, you can buy the fan hand. I'm going to remove that logo here on the right so we can see so the fans can see this. There it is. It's a tentacle fan hand, $25. It's
be
a
careful how you
must-have.
say that now.
It's almost like a rally monkey for
Yeah.
Angels.
Pastors listening, be careful how you pronounce that. Tentacle.
Yeah.
Fan hand.
That's pretty good. So go Seattle. They're in the postseason. Now the Wild, you're getting to the Wild next, right?
Right there. And they're in. 100 points. They're in. And again, if we want to look at it, here's the MGM, BetMGM Conference for Eastern for odds, if you're one of them gambling type folk.
Okay.
If you're not, here's just how the brackets look for the rest of us. This is the East. This is none of our teams we've mentioned before. There's the Bruins, who are walking away with everything. They should do fairly well.
Okay.
And here's the West. For all you betting people, that makes sense to you right there. And for the rest of us, here we go. It could be the Kraken and the Wild in the second round.
So these brackets are as of today, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Could be the Kraken and the Wild. That would be exciting.
Oh, that would be
our two favorite teams will be playing each other in the second round.
That would make me probably watch a little hockey a little more.
Or the Dallas Stars and the Wild, the ex-Minnesota against the current Minnesota.
Yes.
That would be cool. And here's how the Wild have done the last few years in the playoffs. Not to be a downer on them, but let's go back to 2015-16 and on.
Little trend here.
Lost in the first round, lost in the first round, lost in the first round. Did not qualify. Lost in the qualifying round. Lost in the first round, lost in the first round. So qualifying round, I think if you're like the 7th, 8th seed, it's like a play-in game. Thing, so, yeah.
Well, that's not a good history. But then again,
room for improvement.
Yeah, I was going to say, that team with 53 wins, it's huge. We're close to that now. Are we at 48 wins or something?
It was 45.
45 wins. Now is there
after 79 games, so yeah.
Okay, then there's 3 games left.
Yep. So we're getting there. We're getting there. 45 wins. We've had that,
It's tough. The postseason is tough.
Yes. And don't forget all of our shows during the week. I'm going to have my WNBA Draft review Wednesday. Dan's going to have an NFL Draft review this week. Probably going to do other stuff throughout the week. Thursdays are our songs episode. So as we hit this time of year, we kind of throw some extra special episodes in throughout the week. College baseball, high school baseball stuff.
Lots going on. And during all this transition, it's always good to have the bonus episodes, bonus shows to just kind of to cut through here to the chase. We're able to spend a little more time on some of these other topics that we don't get to on the shows like this.
And there might be songs oriented too, like I did the Weird Al movie as a special midweek episode 1. So if we see a rock movie or a book review on one of the bands or something like that, I'm working on a midweek episode for the songs on the crybabies of hair bands like Ace Frehley and Kiss and Mick Mars and Motley Crue and all this elementary school stuff going on. I'm trying to work on that without getting through it laughing hysterically going.
It is.
It's
kind of. These guys are all in their 60s now. Or 70s.
With Mick Mars and Gene and Peter and them and Paul but acting like a bunch of children. And I get it, but they're talking millions of dollars, so I guess you have a right to be a little angry. But that's for later this week or early next. I'm letting some of that smoke settle between those two sides before I get into it, because by the time you think you got stuff down, more stuff comes out.
Well, if we could put a request in, I'd like to have you do a review on a bonus episode for the Minnesota Twins walk-up music for their batting order for this year.
Okay, I saw that list. Kip Kovar put it out, and he goes, I feel old. I only recognize 3 of these. I didn't know any of them.
We're older than Kip, but boy, it makes you feel old because it is so bizarre to see the list like that. I feel horrible.
And one of them, there was a not safe for work language in the title of the song. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, the game is played by youngsters nowadays. Very young.
we have our walk-up songs, but we got to have short games. I don't understand.
And I like the walk-up songs, but
I get it.
as it's evolved, it's too much. But it's showing our age a little bit. It's a generational thing, because I'm sure if we would have had this, Andy, in high school, our parents and grandparents would have been saying the same thing. These kids nowadays, I don't understand anything of the music they're saying.
This rock and roll.
Just get off my yard. And we think we are professionals in music because we do album reviews and we give leading edge music updates. And it's just not in that genre.
We are professionals, though.
We are. That's correct. Now, I've got a few more things on sports. Do you have anything further?
Just one more thing. I was watching before the WNBA Draft on ESPN. Catching the end of their Sports Center is a nice reminder why I don't watch Sports Center.
Exactly.
They're talking about, baseball games are averaging 2 hours and 30-some minutes. So great, the new rules are working out with the pitch clock. Honey, that's taken away from advertising on your network for the games. That's money out of your pocket. So how can the networks be happy that they're shorter games? I don't get.
I think they have to.
They have to say that, though.
Be in on the narrative that it's doing well for everyone, and so they have to play that card. I think that everyone's benefiting, even when they're not. They have to say it is, because then it's successful. So they can be yay, rah, rah, cheering in the background.
That's for our other midweek show, Sports and Songs and Politics. We'll get into one today.
Exactly. I've got two things for sports. I've got two things in spring football, Andy. I know we don't have a lot of listeners there. It's a sore subject, but I just wanted to say that the XFL, we're in the final 2 weeks now of the XFL season. 2 teams have clinched playoff berths. The DC team, and Houston has clinched a postseason berth. Only 4 teams of the 10 make it in the postseason for the XFL. Keep in mind, it's the XFL. Season's winding down. They have 2 weeks left. The USFL, mind you, different league completely, still in the spring. They kick off this weekend. The USFL, a 10-game season, different football season altogether. They're in training camp getting ready. They kick off season week 1. So there is going to be an overlap for a couple of weeks, an overlap of spring football. It's going to be hard to watch with the different channels, I'm sure, while we got everything else going on, hockey, NBA playoffs. Oh, by the way, the NBA, Andy, we don't cover them a lot. The season ended.
Right.
The season ended. The Wild, the Wolves, the Timberwolves now will be in on one of those play-in games there as a 7-8 seed. They'll be playing tomorrow night. And so if they lose, they got another game. If they win, they got another game. I think so. Their season's done, but the postseason will be starting in earnest on Saturday for the NBA. The NHL's kicking off next week after the regular season ends this week. But the XFL is going to be overlapping with the USFL for a couple of weeks as they get things going. And we've talked in the past. Remember, former Gopher quarterback Tanner Morgan was selected. Michigan Panthers in the USFL in the first round. He has declined, turned that down. Said no thanks. Not going to do it. He's throwing the name, his number into the hat for the NFL draft.
Could he have still done USFL and been in the NFL draft?
What I think, and I don't know this, we also need some people to leave a comment if this is the case, because if he's already on a USFL team and playing on a contract with the USFL, I don't think you have the option then to put your name in the hat. He bowed out one, and I went to confirm he's not on any roster for the Michigan Panthers now, even listed on the roster. So he backed out, became eligible now to go in. Now, the mock draft that I saw has him placed like the 16th best quarterback on the board. Typically,
next to last.
Typically in the NFL draft goes through all 7 rounds, and typically there's 8 quarterbacks taken in the draft.
But that last pick worked out for Joe Montana, worked out for the other kid last year too. So
so you could be taken. It may not be taken. The teams and the players that are in the draft that are not taken are typically picked up as a free agent signing anyway. So he may be on.
And Tyler, he's a smart kid too. He could sign as a practice squad player.
You could still make the team on the practice squad. You can still make it as on the scout team. Maybe make the team as a 3rd string emergency quarterback. If you are the 16th overall player in the draft class, you're not going to get drafted. You'll be picked up maybe later. So it's something we'll watch when the draft comes up. Now, we will have a bonus episode going through some of these things of topics of the NFL draft, because that's coming up in a couple of weeks too, is the NFL draft. That's a 3-day event, 7 rounds. And we'll see who gets what big names coming up. If there's any shakeups, who are the Vikings going to get, and some topics like that. So we will have a show for that.
Mr. Morgan will be getting a check from an NFL team though next season. I'll tell you that. Doing something.
You think he will?
Yeah, he'll be on a practice squad or a.
So he'll be getting a check, and him and his look over to say, hey, what's better? What's in our best interest? Make a squad holding a clipboard, holding a clipboard on the sideline, or on the practice squad, or being a starter in the USFL. And so the pay is so different that you got to weigh that all out.
Can you play XFL and USFL? Like after the XFL season, can you sign it to a USFL team?
I don't believe so. Once again, you're either on one or the other. If you get cut, and quit and sign off that you're not affiliated with the team, can you jump into the USFL as well? I imagine that you could. Most of these guys pick one or the other, I think, to go into, but it's interesting.
And just a reminder, these two leagues I think they're associated with the NFL a little bit, but like a certain team is not a minor league for the Vikings or for.
Yeah, there's no affiliation with any team. It's a separate, independently run business altogether. Now, if you're good and you put up some big numbers and big stats and you get noticed, like the dude last year that did really good was picked up, I think, by the Rams as a kick returner, punt returner last year, and I think led the league and was a Pro Bowl, was named to the Pro Bowl. So the cream of the crop will rise up, and then the NFL then will pluck from there. But there's still 45, 50 guys on a team that are going to go nowhere probably. But it's like a minor league thing, but you are right. There's no affiliation. There's no farm system. It's kind of treated as a farm system there, but it's also spring football for fans that love year-round football. They can go, they can attend the games, they can watch. It's for the true fans who are really getting into this stuff. Now, St. Louis, since St. Louis lost their football to the Cardinals years ago, and then they lost their Rams team years ago, it's been such a hotbed for football. So XFL happens to work. This isn't the same on every other city, but the last 2 home games for St. Louis, they play in the Dome. 35,000 fans they're drawing.
Wow.
For XFL. Not saying the other teams are drawing that, but St. Louis is a perfect market for this type of it's just a fun. They like their sports. They like their football. 35,000 fans showing up. The XFL, I went to the USFL. I went to a game last year. I think there was 400 people there in Birmingham. Very little.
And that's a huge stadium that holds 60,000 people.
Yes, and so it's to each his own. It's a very different thing. That's all I've got for sports. We have a trivia question to wrap up on. Was there anything else before that?
No, not really. That's it. Just if you've got any questions on anything, let us know. I mean, we talk Mets and Twins for baseball usually. If you got a team you want us to mention, we'll do it. High school baseball, let us know how your team's doing. Small college, let us know how you're doing.
It's good stuff. So the trivia question beginning the show was, what major league ballpark opened their doors 50 years ago on this day? Major league ballpark. It was 1973, had their first ball game in Major League Baseball history at this stadium. What's your answer, Andy?
I'm trying to think who's been around longer than that, obviously. But who hasn't had a new stadium recently either, though? Who got one that I've totally gapped? Did the Padres get a new stadium around then? Would be the same thing with Padres.
They were in the Padres were in Qualcomm or
They've been at the Murph there, haven't they? But then
they're at the Murph.
See, they changed corporate names, but it's still the same stadium. That's where I get lost on that nowadays.
Yes. So for baseball, you like to think of the Red Sox is the oldest. The Dodger Stadium is the oldest, and those are like the 2 oldest ones out there, because every other team through the recent years, last 30 years, has all gotten new ballparks. So
Wrigley's up there. Yep.
The answer, Andy, you might know this: Kansas City Royals.
Kauffman Stadium.
So Kauffman Stadium, they opened in 1973. So the Dodgers and Fenway are the 2 older stadiums that are very old. Kansas City's
And
right in the
Wrigley.
middle, and after that, every other 27 of the teams all have new stadiums. New meaning less than 30 years old.
Jeez. And you look at the one where Tampa Rays played at the Trop. That was built early 80s because the Twins were supposed to be playing there because they almost went down to Tampa Bay.
That's would have
That
been their
stadium
home.
was empty for 15 years before someone got there.
Wow, that's true. So that was 50 years ago today. The Kauffman, they did put a bunch of renovations in 2019, I think, to re-update that field. Still a great field, but Kansas City themselves are still looking at. I think they just got a proposal this week into the city to say we have plans to build a new stadium in the future in Kansas City.
I think the way they got it set there, which is why I think is perfect, in a way with Target Center and Target Field, we kind of have it, but we got a parking garage. The stadium where the Chiefs play and Kauffman Stadium share a parking lot. It's not a parking garage; it's a parking lot.
They're outdoors. They got two lots, two stadiums,
Yep.
and when the other team's not playing there, the overflow stadium is all for the other team's stadium. It's a perfect scenario, and so they've worked that out well. It's very cost effective there. So, but they are thinking of a new ballpark, baseball only ballpark for Kansas City. Kauffman's been around, but I think the management there for the Royals are getting that same itch that all the other ballparks got. Let's eventually get something new, bring back the fans, bring back the new.
Gives you an all-star game. They'll get you an all-star game if you got a new stadium.
Correct. It's true.
That's all I got, sir.
That's all I got. Have a good week, everyone. We'll be back. Make sure to watch our bonus episodes here during the week.
See ya.
See ya.